Hello everybody, welcome back, good morning. Let's have a think about what's going on with this chart, the Bitcoin chart and Ethereum chart. So, if we look at the daily, we can see that we're just getting rejected again from the centre of a Bollinger Band like we did yesterday, sort of more or less today, supported on 10, but mostly looking at the rejection. Volume's moving up, but price actions are moving down. It's a bit of a problem over here. Now, if we move over to the 4 hourly, it's even more lame than that. We sort of scraped the bottom, moved into a death cross retest, rejected from that, and now we're just flapping around, basically doing nothing. I mean, more or less that is what's going on. We've been above moving averages, we're now swooping down below moving averages, have a negative cross on the Ichi cloud. If we get a positive cross on the Ichi cloud at this stage, like this, so we're talking price of 112, 113, definitely 114, you would have a trend and a trend signal and a setup that you'd be willing to say likely to take you back up to 120, and then maybe some further upside beyond that. But we're not there yet, are we? We're not there. So there's your daily, there's your 4 hourly. Now the weekly is still bullish, surprisingly. You know, in a few ways. We're above the 20 and the 21, so you're 65% more likely to remain above that portion of the Bollinger Band while above it, and we're above it. So we're not below it, we're above it. So the weekly is still bullish. We've got the Chiku span still floating above the price action. Obviously the blue crossed the red, the baseline across to the conversion line, so we are still trending on a weekly. As far as the weekly is concerned, a trend is still in play. We could dump down on this weekly all the way down to $86,000, and as long as the Chiku span doesn't close within the price action, you're good to go. Now, if you want to measure this out, so the Chiku span needs to get above and stay above the price for the next 112 days, really. So, at the moment, price action can stay at this level and it'll still be bullish for 112 days. It's crazy. So, but that is the truth of it. So that's how that setup works, and that is what's working with this current price action. That is the setup that we have on the weekly. It's bullish at the moment based on Bollingers, bullish based on Ichis, bullish. It's bullish, but it's a weekly. And it can swoop down, and it can come down to low levels. It can break 100,000. It can break into 90s. It could even, over the next few weeks, break down into the 80s and still be bullish. Mind-blowing, right? Right, so let's have a think about Ethereum. Ethereum hit their resistance, obviously, crept back down. The 7 simple so far seems to be holding it on the weekly. Neither here nor there. Lots of hidden bullish divergence on the daily here, but below all moving averages. So if it wants to come down further, which it looks like it should, supports around 4,080. That's fine. Over here on the 4 hourly, we're still sort of moving around like a golden cross, which is at 4,250. Basically where we're at right now. And we've got a death cross on the simple moving averages as well. So you've got the 200 and the 50 have made a death cross, so that makes it relatively likely that any move up will be rejected at 4,360, and maybe we get supported at 4,250, which gives you a range of 2.7%, and that is the Ethereum scenario. Mental. Right, alright then, let's have a look at the pre-market for stocks. Well, based on the 4 hourly, golden cross retest, and again, V-shaped recovery, continuation each time. Not really looking at anything worrisome over here. We had this dump that took place on Friday because of the jobs data. No big deal. Jobs data being poor generally substantiates the idea that we will get a rate cut at some point in September. So, yeah, fine. Above everybody, all moving averages and everything continuously trending up here on the daily. So I'll take that. The weekly, hot, but absolutely can go higher. But it is quite hot. There is nothing more to say about it than that. So let's start digging even deeper than that. Let's move into the depths of the Dixie. Dixie continues to trend down. It's still weak, rejection on the Bollinger Band Center. You can see why we use this stuff, don't you, right? Even the Dixie responds well to it. So bang, 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 bang. Loads of rejections on that 20 moving average. Moving over to the daily, below all moving averages, and if we close at this level or lower, you'd have a short signal on the daily. So I wonder where that'll take us. Over here on the 4 hourly, below all moving averages as well, just responding to rejection most recently on the 10 exponential. So the Dixie wants to keep going down. So for some reason, everybody wants to go down, basically. Unless, of course, you're looking at the high-term time frames for things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, stocks. And then you're like, okay, well, so it's all trending up, so what are we worried about? Obviously, all trends do eventually come to an end, but when in doubt, zoom out. Have a look at those charts. What do they look like to you? They're uptrends. And I was saying this on the Patreon last night. Okay, so everyone's experience of this bull market has been very different, like really different. And if you're holding, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, maybe Chainlink, Solana, all these sort of things, if you're holding all those, you've had a great bull market, and actually, it's probably been one of the best because it's been continuous, largely continuous. Consistent, happy, really. And I think as much as I share frustrations with everybody, because I hold obviously all those things, the majority of my things are taken up by Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, BNB, Chainlink. Yeah, these are big holds. All of those things together probably amounts to 70% of what I've got, 60, 65, 70%. It's hard to keep track with crypto and they move so dramatically. The distance between portfolio holds financial values, they get pretty stark. But there's still plenty of that I hold that haven't moved. But because the largest chunk has done well, my experience of this bull market has been one of a good one. And when I look at something like, the total 2, for instance, and zoom out on the total 2, I mean, it kind of does reflect the way that the bull market has gone for me, This is, and it has been my experience of the bull market. Started down here, now currently up here. But a lot of people, it's not like that. And I think they're calling for bear markets and, it's over and it's popped and it's rubbish and it's useless. But the reality is that it's not actually. The reality is that it's actually still pretty good, has been good the whole time, it's just not been good for those people, and they flipped. At the moment, I don't see evidence for the absolute peak being in. I have been anticipating that around September, but I don't really see enough evidence to say yes, definitely it is definitely in. There's evidence for it, but I don't see it. So I still believe there's more in this market. However, if it gets to the point where I have to accept that there is a bear market, and it might be that I have to accept it, or getting close to accept it when we start closing below weeklies, 21 and 20 moving averages on a weekly for Bitcoin. And it's not the end of the world. We've done that before. I've got supported on the 50. But if we start closing below the 50 exponential on a weekly, which currently holds at 96,000, then yeah, I'll sell. And it's no big deal for me to sell. I bought Bitcoin at 4,000. I bought Bitcoin incrementally on the way down from 50, started buying it on the way down from 40,000. After selling it around about 56 in the previous bull market. Mostly picked it up this cycle at 21,000, so I've still got plenty of all my Bitcoins, really, every single one of them have been picked up between the prices of 40,000 and 4,000. Ethereum, I bought some at 3,000, but the vast majority of all the Ethereums that I own bought 160. XRP, rough average cost, probably about 30 cents. Chainlink, about $6, roughly. I mean, BNB, I was just getting them given to me for free for bot trading over and over again, getting about 2 to 3 BNB a day for 4 months. If it comes to the point, and the value at the time was roughly about between $30 and $40. So if I have to sell, from a lower level than today's price, it's still a much higher level than where I bought it from. So my, all I'm trying to explain is, I'm not trying to big myself up, I'm just trying to explain. There is a point where you accept that the chart will not go up anymore. And when you're buying and selling, you don't often sell the absolute peak, nor do you absolutely buy the complete bottom. You get pieces in between. And if it comes to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to sell here at 93,000, maybe I'll be selling at 86,000. Still higher than 21, it's certainly still higher than 4. If I'm selling my Ethereum, and Ethereum's back down into 3,000 or something like that, I would say, well, yeah, it's certainly not 5,000, but it's absolutely not 160, is it? There's still plenty of profit there. XRP, all the way back down. Let's just say we start breaking down below 250. Okay, I didn't sell the 360, but it's certainly not. It's absolutely not 30 cents, is it? You see where I'm coming from? You didn't sell the absolute peak. No, but I'm hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of percent up if I do have to sell. That's the point. So just try and reflect on that, right? I spent plenty of time in the market, and with that probably comes a lot of my relaxed nature in the morning. Okay, just you can understand the context of what it is that I'm dealing with and how I'm dealing with it. So if we do start losing these areas, it's still not a big problem for me. It just means an early retirement, and I'll still keep trading, obviously. But what I mean is, the large bulk, a huge bulk of my crypto wealth will be sold, and I'll just be relaxing for a longer period of time. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Nothing else to say about this market at the moment, though. It's still bullish, like I say, but I just wanted to put that out there, just so people can have a bit of context as to how I might be going about this. And yes, there might be a bear market, but at the moment it's absolutely still a bull market. Right, take it easy. Thanks for watching.